So I'm going to make a quick tutorial today on how I edit my videos in Final Cut Pro. So I'm just going to open up Final Cut here. And the first thing I'm going to do is create a new library. So this is going to be where all my media is contained. So I'm just going to name this Lagrima, seeing as this is the piece we're going to use today. And then we're going to import our audio and video. So I have my video here and the audio, which I recorded in Logic Pro here. And the first thing I need to do with this footage is I need to synchronize it. So I'm going to highlight the two clips, then right click, go to new multicam clip, and we'll name it Lagrima Synced. And then we're going to create a new project. We'll just name this Lagrima. And then we're going to drag our synced footage into the project. And I get this warning here saying adding HDR clip to SDR project. So I recorded this on an iPhone 13, which automatically shoots in HDR, which is a video file format that only works on certain devices. So if you look at my footage here, it looks overexposed. So I need to go over here to my install effects. So there's essentially a filter that I can put on this that will make it look better on a standard device. So I'm going to add my HDR tools under installed effects, and then under HDR tools I'm going to choose HLG to Rec 709. Okay, so now my footage looks normal. Now when I play this back, you'll notice that the audio isn't very good. That's because it's using the iPhone audio. So I need to choose my audio angle over here under angles. Now if this isn't displayed, you can go over here, go to view and show in viewer angles. So a lot of the time Final Cut would be set up just to show this one big screen. So we go over to view, show in viewer angles, or you can press Shift Command 7 to display it. So I'm going to choose my audio angle over here. So I click on the sound wave here, and then as I play my project, I can switch between the Logic audio or the iPhone audio. So hopefully you can hear that there's a big difference between them. So I'm going to bring my playhead back to the beginning, choose my good audio, and now I can edit my project. So first thing I'm going to do is trim off all my mistakes at the beginning. And I'm going to add a cross dissolve for my transitions over here, which is going to fade it in. And then we obviously don't need to see all this stuff at the end. So I'm going to trim that out. So you can see my last note faded out at the end. So it's easy enough to find that. Okay. And now we're going to just edit the colors ever so slightly just to give it a more cinematic look. So when I click on a clip here, all the information to do that clip is displayed over in the inspector here. So we're going to go to our color correction tools. I'm going to scroll down to color curves. Now I'm not a color correction expert, so I just stole this information from someone else's YouTube video, but we're going to make this into more of an S shape. And by an S shape, I mean I'm going to bring this down here just to make it a little bit more contrasty, and then bring my highlights up ever so slightly. So that's probably enough there. And then we're going to go over to our installed effects here, and we're going to add what's called a LUT, which is essentially a filter. I know people will probably complain that it's not a filter, but for the purpose of this video, we're just going to call it a filter, and it just gives your video a certain stylized look. So there's a drop down menu here and you can add your LUT. So Final Cut doesn't come with LUTs, but if you Google 35 free LUTs, you'll be able to get this folder of different LUTs that you can use on your project for different looks. So you'll see here, there's all sorts of different styles you can use. Today we're going to use the McKinnon because I like the look of that. So McKinnon 75. And then the mix here is going to change the intensity of that LUT. So that's basically, that just has no effect on it at all. If I go over here, that's the full effect. So I might bring this down to 0.7. And then this is a personal choice. I like to have a little bit of a vignette around the edges, but I'm going to lighten it a little bit. We don't need it quite so dark. So that just helps with kind of framing the scene. So it just adds a little bit of darkness around the edges to put you more in focus. And then I'm going to add a letterbox, which are the black bars that you see on movies. And this really is what gives it that more cinematic look. So if I choose my border size, that's obviously too much, but I can bring it in a bit. And then the offset will help center me within that frame. And that's pretty much it. And now for a true cinematic look, you really should shoot all your video at 24 frames per second. Unfortunately, I had to shoot this at 30 frames per second because I was using the cinematic mode on the iPhone, which only allows you to shoot at 30 frames per second. So I would recommend setting your camera to 24 frames per second for that more cinematic look. And then to export the video, I just go up here. I'm going to export Apple devices 4K. Again, there's a whole bunch of codecs that you can use, but this is one of the more simple ones to use, and it's compatible with all my Apple devices, and the files don't take up too much room. So I'm just going to name this Lagrima 4K and export it to my desktop. So that's my tutorial on how I edit my videos. If you have any questions, feel free to ask them in the comment section below. And don't forget to subscribe if you haven't subscribed already.